Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Daily Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I am the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Tom Knighton of the Bearing Arms was supposed to be joining me today. I don't know if there was technical difficulties or what, but I am doing it solo today. So please forgive me, and it may be a little bit of a shorter show today. I'll do the best I can. Let's see here. Robert, we're already getting comments, and Robert says, I'm here, you can start now. Okay, well, yeah, all right. Well, very cool, Robert. I kind of got to be here to start it, though. I do have one story I want to bring up, and that is this one. Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards vetoes constitutional carry. And it looks like Dean Weingarten wrote this one, and it looks like there is a possibility that there could be an override in the legislature. There's enough Democrats in the House that may go over and side with Republicans to override the veto, and there should be enough Republicans in the Senate to override it straight away. So it needs, my understanding is it needs 60% in both houses. See if I can find it here. 2/3 in both houses are needed. So I'll keep an eye on that one. There would need either in the regular session, or there is a veto session that could be held anywhere from July 20 to as late as July 24th. I'll keep an eye out. We'll see what's going on there. If this does get an override, Louisiana would become the 22nd constitutional carry state. So we'll see what happens there. I really hope, two things I hope come out of this. Number one, I hope the veto override comes out of it and Louisiana can join the ranks of free states. And I hope that when Governor Edwards is up for re-election, the voters of the state of Louisiana remember this, and when he's up for primary, decide that it's time for his term as governor to end and put somebody new in the office, somebody that really believes in freedom. Michael Schmidt has a great comment over here. I was just watching another channel, and they did mention something about Clarence Thomas saying something about marijuana in the federal government and laws. I did see that. I keep everything strictly Second Amendment and gun related here. I don't want to say I don't ever, but I don't very often go off into other individual liberties. I try and keep on the Second Amendment Foundation's airways. I try to keep everything about the Second Amendment. So I did see the story. I read it a little bit. I didn't go deep enough to comment on it myself. I have to do a little bit more research on that before I could comment on it myself. Other than just to say I agree with most of what Thomas has said historically, and I'm not going to say I disagree with him here. See here. Try to find out what other comments are coming here. Lisa Rose, it would be awesome for Florida. It would be nice for Florida to become constitutional carry. Lisa, that's a long road. I don't see Florida joining ranks of the free states for a while. You guys were early in adopting shall issue, but you guys are too close to a purple or even maybe a blue state right now. I hope so. I'm right there with you, Lisa. I would love for Florida to join the ranks of the free states. I just don't. I just don't know if it's going to be in the absolute forefront in the very near future. And I apologize, folks. I don't have a whole lot in my topics that I was going to bring up. I did want to talk about the Edwards thing. Of course, Chapman is still awaiting movement in the Senate. It cleared the Senate Judiciary Committee. At any moment, he could come up in front of a full Senate. Do not let up now. If you called yesterday, call today. If you called today, call tomorrow. Call your senators. Let them know that Chapman is the wrong person to lead the ATF. That he would absolutely be a disaster for that agency. DJ Plain Ice chimes in right on time and says U.S. Capitol switchboard 202-224-3121. Let's see here. I want to, and I'm going to go over this again and again. You guys have heard it from me before, so I'm going to go over it one more time. And that is, once you're done with that phone call and you've talked to both of your senators' Washington, D.C. offices, do not stop. Jump on the internet, find out where your senators have offices in your home state, then call each of your home state offices and register your opinions there too. It is actually fairly rare for somebody to call their senator. Only 1 out of 100 to 1 to every 200 voters will call their senator at any time during their time in office. So if you make 5 phone calls, that means you're speaking louder than 5 or as loud as 500 people. So just make sure you are being polite when you're making these phone calls. You can make it as short as you want because you're just going to be a check mark, but please keep making these phone calls. Let's see here. John Petrolino is saying, good evening, Patriots. Hey, John, glad to see you on. DJ Plain Ice wants us to comment on the proposed ATF definitions here. I would, you know what? Yeah, go ahead and go over and look at the YouTube side and the link for the definition is there, and please do that. And again, especially there, if you're going to comment on those, please keep it clean, keep it professional, or if you start spewing vileness, they're just going to be dumped right now. They're not even going to be looked at. But absolutely, again, their numbers help as well. So if you want to go ahead and make a comment there, please do that. That would absolutely help out as well. Matt Pawlowski says, how you doing, buddy? And I got to tell you, folks, this is going to be my last broadcast for a while. I am scheduled for surgery tomorrow morning, and I'm going to be out for at least a few days. I will not be broadcasting tomorrow or Thursday. I don't know about Friday, and we'll see what goes on from there. I've been both looking forward to and honestly dreading this surgery. There's risks with any surgery, and let's be honest, they're going to be doing the carotid arteries in my neck, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't more than a little nervous about this. So but no show tomorrow, no show Thursday, because I'll still be in the hospital. They say with the surgery I should expect to be in the hospital at least one night, and then home after that. I'm going to have some restrictions, and my voice is going to sound screwy for a while. So, all right, let's see what else is coming up on comments here. Some more Chapman stuff, and I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get this pulled up, and I want to go a little bit off the reservation here. My boss today, let's find it here. Here it is. Alan Gotlieb, the executive vice president, issued a statement today about the Chapman nomination, and I'm going to go ahead and just do just a little bit of this here, because there have been allegations that have come up about this nomination, and I'm just going to go ahead and read some of this. The Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms today is demanding an immediate investigation into allegations that David Chapman, nominated to be the head of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive, made a derogatory comment about African American ATF agents cheating to pass an agency selection exam while he was serving with the agency in Detroit in 2007. CCR KVA Chairman Alan Gotlieb said the allegations are alarming and incredibly disturbing. Quote, with the racist history of gun control and the past enforcement practices going back to Reconstruction, Gotlieb said, the last thing we need is someone heading ATF who not only wants to ban black guns, but also denigrates black people, including his own colleagues. Gotlieb continues, it's impossible for the Biden administration to not have known about this. A watchdog group has filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit concerning this allegation, and we believe this must be investigated or Chapman's nomination should be rejected immediately. According to a report at Daily Caller, Chapman allegedly remarked to a fellow ATF agent in Detroit, quote, wow, there were an unusually large number of African American agents that passed the exam on this time. They must have been cheating. The story said the alleged remark was reported to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and the story said Chapman told Senator Ted Cruz in writing that 2 EEOC complaints had been resolved without any finding of discrimination and no disciplinary action was taken against me. Wow. That's, it doesn't shock me that a Biden appointee, it comes up that he's made comments like this. In this coming from, it's almost like, look, it's okay if the guy's a horse's backside, and it's okay if he's a racist because he's with us on gun control. He's what we want here, so it's okay for him to be bad over here because he's our guy over here. That is what we're getting with this administration. I wish I could say this shocked me. It doesn't. It doesn't even surprise me very much. So, yeah, it's. I'm obviously I'm an employee, so I'm going to be with my boss. But I'm even if I weren't an employee, I'd be absolutely right aside with this and say that I am as well calling for an investigation into this. I'm calling for an immediate release of the files, and I am calling for the pulling of David Chapman. If there's any foundation behind this, I'm calling for the removal of David Chapman's nomination. And then a great comment here from Robert. Typical Democrat line. No, I didn't do it. They say there's no proof that I did it. That's right. I didn't do it. You didn't see it. You can't prove a thing. Isn't that the old Simpsons, Bart Simpson line? So, all right. And one last one here. George Geller says Biden himself has made plenty of racist remarks. I guess I'm not familiar with those, George, but that as well wouldn't surprise me. I do know when he first ran for the nomination for president in the late 70s or early 80s, he plagiarized an entire speech and had to withdraw from it. So, hey, you know what I'm seeing here? And here we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit this switch and then hit this switch. And hello, there's Tom Knighton from Bearing Arms.
Hi, sorry about that, folks. I spent like 8 hours in Atlanta traffic yesterday, and I'm frazzled and fell asleep.
Oh.
My apologies.
Life happens, man. Life happens. Been doing some talking more about Chapman. My boss, Alan Gotlieb over at CCR, KBA, and SAF issued a press release today and is calling for an investigation into the remarks that Chapman made in 2007, claiming that there were a lot of African Americans that passed the promotion test at the ATF, so they must have cheated. And yeah,
not good, not good at all.
So
I mean, really, that's just oh man. I mean, look, they passed the test. You know, if the test is something that can be cheated, you know, why would it be the black guy cheating?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, why would there be a higher proportion of black people cheating than white people? I mean, I'd figure the same amount of people would. You know, I mean, really, though, with Dave Chapman, what do you expect? I mean, the dude literally is a parody of the awful ATF agent.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, if I were writing a movie and I wanted to create the most god-awful ATF agent possible, I'd write Dave Chapman. I mean, I could probably, the only way you can make him worse is if you make him obviously corrupt. And for all the ills we know about Chapman, we don't know of him ever taking bribes or anything like that. There's no allegations of that we know of.
That we know of, exactly.
That's about the only way you can make him worse. Yeah, so about the only way you can make him worse. I mean, the dude supposedly lost his service weapon.
Well, yeah, and let's.
I mean,
you know what? I'm gonna say, he works for he works for a organization whose goal is to end gun ownership in America. I'm not going to say that's a bribe because the money's above the table, but that's as good as it in my mind.
It really is. I mean, it's like I said, the only way you could do it worse for someone like David Chapman would be him taking money from like the mob or something. But it is above board. And yeah, so yeah, you could make the case that's you know, no different, and I'm right there with you. Honestly, when Biden got sworn in, I can't say when he got elected because
he did.
You know, there's still some funny stuff there.
Yeah.
But when he was sworn in, he made all the noises about being a unifier. He wanted to bring the country together, and he picks David freaking Chapman. the Waco kid to be the head of the ATF. This isn't just somebody who's just sitting around doing nothing for the last 10 years or anything. He was actively working to take away our gun rights. And now you're going to put him in a position where he can.
The only person that could have been worse to lead the ATF would have been Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could at least make the case that Chapman's qualified.
Well,
I'm not saying he is. I'm saying you can make the case. Beto, you're just pulling shit out of your ass.
Right.
Sorry. You're pulling stuff out of your butt. And, my apologies there.
I'm gonna put you on the seat here. I when I was doing show prep, I came across an article that I want you to comment. It was written by a good friend of mine by the name of Tom Knighton. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it up on the screen here.
Oh,
and new poll shows Americans don't support gun control. That's again not surprising to me. I did go through it a little bit, but the numbers I did find were a little surprising about how many people do not support gun control.
Yeah, I expected to see. We've been seeing the support for gun control decrease slowly for months now. So seeing it eventually, seeing that support continue to drop really wasn't surprising. But when I looked at that poll and saw, this isn't even a, 48% say they don't support it and 32 say they do, and then a bunch that does say they didn't care. It was over 50% who responded were not in of gun control. Further, more than 50% believe that the Second Amendment preserves our right to resist a tyrannical government. Mm-hmm. It was really kind of shocking to see it that high. In fairness, the poll is like 775 likely voters, so not a huge sample. And sample size matters when you're polling. This is a trick we see a lot where they'll poll 500 people and make it representative of the entire United States. So, I mean, we need to take the results with a slight grain of salt.
Right.
But it's still very promising, especially in light of the other polling we've seen that's showing the support for gun control crashing. Well, and really, this is Rasmussen, who has been a little more accurate of late with their polling.
And
so, I'm willing to give this a little more leeway than I would some of the other polling.
There are two polls. There's a poll every other year that really does make a difference, and that's our elections for House and Senate. And I'm really looking forward to the elections coming up in 2022.
Yeah.
I'm thinking honestly, with the people we had 2020, we had 6 to 8, depending on the numbers you believe, 6 to 8 million new gun owners. Now they were brand new to gun ownership. I'm gonna forgive a lot of them for not voting or not voting for gun freedoms the first time around when they owned a gun. I'm hoping that come November 2022, they take a look and say, hey, I like my new gun that I have at home. I like being able to defend myself. And this person has been voting consistently to take that away from me. Let's get rid of them. I'm hoping that shows up in force.
Yeah, and I think we will start to see it. Gun owners become gun voters, but it is not an overnight process. It's not, the process of picking up your firearm for the first time does not convey an appreciation for the Second Amendment, magically into your body. I bought a gun. I still think the same way I did before. But then you go to the range and you meet a bunch of people, and it turns out, these aren't a bunch of ignorant yahoos who I'm just going to me up the government. I mean, because that's the way we're portrayed in a lot of ways, and they're going to go and they're going to find little accountants and teachers and doctors and construction workers and plumbers and day laborers, and I mean they're going to find the entire gamut of the American experience at a gun range. Depending on how many people, a busy gun range, you're going to find people from all walks of life, all ethnicities, all socioeconomic brackets you want to name. You're going to see it all, and when you get there, you start to realize what I've been told isn't true. Mm-hmm. And this is especially true with the growing number of black gun owners who have been told that the Second Amendment advocates are really just, have their guns because they're afraid of black people. And these folks go to the range because they got to shoot. They got to learn how to shoot. And what they encounter is a bunch of people going, "Hey, how you doing? First time here? You got any questions?" Their community is much more welcoming than they've been led to believe. And that opens the door of what else have I been lied to about?
Well, and
then when they're talking about all kinds of other things, such as Second Amendment, things change.
Yeah. One area where that shows up in spades is in the LGBT arena, because I don't know about you, but I can't just look at somebody and tell if they're LGBT. If you were to meet Chris Cheng,
sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not.
Yeah, if you were to just meet Chris Cheng on the street and not knowing it's Chris Cheng, but people like that.
Yeah, I've seen Chris in interviews and stuff, and he doesn't come across
right. People like that going to the range and getting familiar, and just coming into the Second Amendment, into the gun arena, my brain just froze. I'm sorry. Coming
the gun community, the firearms community, Second Amendment community, all that, and family's a good way to put it too, because you get that dynamic in a lot of places too.
Absolutely.
You run into the same guys at the range every week and every couple weeks, and to feel like a family too. So that's actually a good term for it too. And like someone like Chris Chang, who my wife's big into community theater, so and there's the stereotype of gay people in community theater exists for a reason, folks. Let me tell you. And there are people that I encounter who you kind of know they're gay. Then sometimes you encounter them, you go, yeah, I know they're gay, and they're not. So you really can't even go by that. And in the LGBT, when those guys show up at the range, nobody really makes a thing of it. They don't really care.
Yeah, exactly. We are coming up on the bottom of the hour. Dude, you got it easy. You got a 15-minute appearance out of a 30-minute show.
Oh, go ahead.
I said we're coming up on the bottom of the hour, man. You got it easy.
I apologize for being late again, everybody. That's on me.
No worries.
I do apologize for that.
Life happens, dude.
This was not Plan A. All day today I felt like my brain was squishing out of my ears. Paul, I know you spent a lot of time on the interstates for in your past life. To you, it's probably nothing. Every time I go to Atlanta, I start to sympathize just a little more with General Sherman.
Oh yeah. Yes, absolutely.
I seriously have gotten to the point that I think Sherman's biggest mistake in Atlanta was not salting the earth behind him, just because of the traffic. It's like First time I got stuck in Atlanta traffic a couple years ago. First time I was driving solo in years and years, and I got stuck in Atlanta traffic, and I was like, Sherman did nothing wrong, and now I'm like, oh no, he did. He didn't salt the ground behind him. He let Atlanta come back, and we went up there for a doctor's appointment and then came back. So I spent a lot of time in Atlanta traffic, all on top. Yeah, same day.
Oh.
And unfortunately, the way back took us on I-285, or as I like to call it, Fury Road.
We
get on 285, and I yell at the top of my lungs, I live, I die, I live again, immortal on the Fury Road. My wife's like, are you freaking insane? I'm like, well, I have to be. I'm going on 285. I'm not an interstate person. I'm really not.
I would hate to see. I could see you following a truck carrying, a truckload of tiki torches. I think that could be, that could be extremely dangerous. Going 285 around Atlanta, you following a truck of tiki torches. I think there could be issues there. So.
Oh yeah. Well, there were enough issues as it was.
All right, folks.
If you're watching this and you were on I-285 and trying to live out the Fast and the Furious yesterday, I hate you.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna set this one aside. Again, no show tomorrow, no show Thursday, maybe Friday. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But the earliest we're gonna have another Daily Bullet would be Friday. And then I just don't know what's going to be going on beyond that. But for right now, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for commenting. And we will see you next time.